There we go. So for today's session, again, most of this is going to be, just in the inner space, quiet, still, relaxed, at ease, whatever is most comfortable for you. You can find that space now. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to open with some comments as we begin. And then we'll just shift into the internal space, do our guided meditation, which, with me, it's always going to be a combination of guided meditation, some prompts, and a little bit probably of energy work. I will have a meditation track playing in the background once we get going, so there will be some music. If you want to use earbuds, you can. If you want to just use your ambient speaker, that's fine too. But really, today is just about being. Like, I am very aware that the tension that we're feeling right now as the old systems and patterns and programs collapse, they're not going quietly. And that's the thing about freedom. My guides have been reminding me over and over lately that freedom is not granted because that is antithetical to freedom. Freedom isn't something that somebody gives. Freedom is chosen. And freedom really does begin and end in the mind. And what I see so much of what's happening right now collectively is the tension between the ending of the systems that were not sustainable and the invitation to jump off the cliff into the new thing without knowing what the new thing is, because guess what? Surprise, you're also building the new thing. So you're jumping and then you're on the way down, you're figuring out what you're building, you're figuring out how to build it, and you're just hoping that there's going to be some other people there to hang out with, to help you, to support you, to join you, etc. This is the key. This is the kicker, is that it can't be messed up. You can't get it wrong because you are literally building this. So there is no blueprint to say, sorry, you got it wrong. I think a lot of what we are contending with right now is the fact that we have been collectively for the past several thousand years, we have been playing a game, but we never got to see the rule book. We were just expected to trust those who were, officiating the game to say, no, you're over there and you're over there, and you are good and you are bad and you are right and you are wrong. And these are the rules that you have to play by. And no, you can't see the rule book. You just have to trust us. So it makes sense that we would assume that there's some sort of hidden document that we need access to in order to know what we are doing. This is the key. What we are doing from here forward is reclaiming the freedom and the authority that we were born with, but were convinced that we had to earn, that we really didn't know how to use, that we weren't good enough, or whatever the reason was, that we had to ask for it, we had to earn it, we had to beg for it. So, this is the trick. The limitations that you are currently being invited to invest yourself in, they only function if you believe in them. This is the trick. The limitations can only limit you when you invest in them the belief that they can. So the tension that we are experiencing for the most part is completely created in the mind because the mind is saying, but where's the thing that is familiar and known? Just show me that, and that's where I'll go. It's not how it works. So for those of you who have been concerned that you're going to get it wrong, that you're going to mess it up, that you're somehow too late or you've missed your shot, you can't because you're the only one who can do what you're doing. So you can't mess it up because there's no, how would you know what is right and what is wrong? So really, I think what it's coming down to, and I am more and more seeing this emerge in my life and in my clients' lives and just collectively, that the idea that we are waiting for an invitation or that we are waiting for permission or that it's just a little bit of a course correction. This is so much deeper than I think any of us have realized. And this year is going to be incrementally stepping into deeper and deeper waters. And as you do so, you will realize how adept you are at swimming in deeper waters. The thing that I think is so scary is we are expecting some sort of gift to be given. But the truth is that we already have the gifts we need. We've just never had to use them because they've never been required. Until your superpowers are necessary, they're not going to turn themselves on. So this is the paradox. The mind saying, where is the guardrail? Where is the path? Where is the instruction book? Just show me that and I will follow it to the letter. So there's the tension that the mind is creating by wanting to hold back and desperately trying to stay in that small space. And the irony of it is that the thing the mind is waiting for does not exist. So at some point, you're just going to have to decide. You're just going to have to make a move. You're just going to have to take a step. And because you are in co-creation mode in a way that you have never been in before, it's going to be so much easier and so much more effective than you could perceive because you're not going to be without understanding, without guidance, or without insight. As you proceed, the path reveals itself. When you feel like you're stuck or there's no path forward, that will always be a sign that there's some breadcrumb, some nugget, some insight that you just haven't accepted yet. And it's going to be different. This is a 1 year, so we're not getting the whole picture. We're only getting one little nugget at a time. And all you have to do is stay present in your center, stay present in that moment, and trust that the guidance, the insight, the nugget of inspiration will arrive. But don't expect it to be a full blueprint, a full dossier, a full printout of everything that's going to be happening over the next 12 months. It's not going to be that. This is where we begin to slowly reclaim, step by step, our creator abilities as we move more towards rapid and instantaneous manifestation. This year is where we are putting those skills to use in real time. It's like we've gotten our magic wands, we've done all the studying, we've done all of the theory, and now we actually have the tool this year. And this is where we're going to start actually applying the magic to our real world and seeing what happens. Oh, right, when I do this, that happens. Okay, you make a little adjustment, you try it again. So this is the year. where co-creation becomes an actual real thing. It's been kind of theoretical. It's been pretty abstract over these past few years, but this is the year. The shedding of the snake cleared the path. The arrival of the horse activates the path because the snake cleared it, but the horse is what rides the path. So today is just all about dropping in. It is the return of the sovereign. That's why I called this gathering Rising Light, because the dust has settled. And now, with tomorrow's full moon, we are at the beginning of the emerging of the fire horse, because this is the final full moon of the year of the snake. The new moon that we have coming up in a couple of weeks is the beginning of the year of the fire horse. So the next couple of weeks are an opportunity to really fully stretch into that new skin, to lovingly assess and go within to see what is it that still needs a little bit of coaxing and persuading and massaging. Because it's not a question of are we going to ride the fire horse? It's simply a question of are we ready to? And there's nothing that you need to know. This is about remembrance. You don't need more information. You just need to trust the information that you have. So let's start shifting into meditation mode. We have a couple of minutes before we shift. And as we do, is there anything that anyone would like to ask for support or share with the group? If there's something you would like to offer or to share or to ask, you can raise your Zoom hand or raise your physical hand, and we can have a chat as we move into the meditation. If not, then just get comfortable. Make sure my phone is on do not disturb. Forgot to do that. You guys might want to do the same. If there's a device in your vicinity, make sure it's on airplane mode or vibrate. And again, I'm going to be playing some music in the background. I will hang on, there we go. Come on. Why can I not get my, there we go. Good Lord. Okay. So you will probably hear me as we proceed, kind of coming in and out of the audio. I'll keep the meditation track playing in the background. So obviously, if I have nothing to offer, if I'm not guided or prompted to share anything, then I'll just keep the volume up and you can listen. And then maybe I'll come in with a prompt. Maybe I'll come in with some guidance, with some insight. We'll just see. Because I really, the intention for this meditation was to give everybody some space simply to be. So if you want to close your eyes and start with your breath. There we go. Just breathing in, nice and full and deep. And as you're breathing, settling into the moment, feeling your butt on the chair or the floor or the bed beneath you. Becoming aware of any sounds or sensations that are outside of the room. Just allow whatever noise, whatever input, whatever distraction may be present outside or in your environment, just allow it to become a part of today's meditation. Just invite it to be a part of your experience today. There we go. And as you're settling in into your body, into the room, into this moment in time, drop into the deeper parts of your awareness. Feel your focus moving into the torso and the belly. Just gently allowing your focus to shift from the mind into that internal space of stillness and silence. And as you're breathing and settling in, making any adjustments to your posture or your position, we're activating the field, the unified field within which all of this occurs. The source field of unconditional love and infinite compassion. We acknowledge that the field is impeccable in its regulation, in its boundaries, and in its service, as it always perfectly reflects the moment as it is, not as we wish it to be, but it offers us an objective perspective at where we are focused and what we are connected to. So breathe in nice and full and deep. Exhaling fully and completely. Offering that breath to the body as an act of gratitude and thanks for all that the body does. Your breath can be an offering. We feel the field activate and surround this group. And we know that the field is impeccable and that only energies and information that work in support of the deepest truth, the highest expression, the greatest joy, the optimal physical thriving for all living things in the purest and highest light will be present here today. And anything that is less than love is returned to its perfect place, like a wave returning to the ocean. And so it is. Allow yourself to be embraced by the field. Allow yourself to fully relax and unwind. Breathing nice and full and deep as we give permission to the nervous system and the mind to simply deactivate, to go quiet, to shift into neutral. There we go. Just breathing in the moment. Giving permission to all of your systems to open and fully receive what is here for you today. As you're breathing, begin to reflect on the intensity of this past year, all that has gone, all that has collapsed or fallen apart, the challenges and the difficulties. No one can take that away from you. That experience was real. The suffering and the struggle, the pain. But there's also something else to acknowledge, the fact that you are here, the fact that you made it, and the fact that what remains within you now is what is pure and true and eternal. And let this full moon be the completion of the noise, of the distortions, of the distractions, of the delusions, of the facade. It served its purpose. That's all you need to know. And anything beyond that is unimportant. It's irrelevant. So breathing in nice and full and deep, simply allow yourself, as you acknowledge all that has gone, allow yourself to turn towards what remains. And as you breathe, imagine that each breath is reintegrating you, is piecing you back together, is reconstructing you just as your divine blueprint says you should be. So breathe in and allow that spark that remains to reignite and become a bonfire again. Okay, everybody, just gently coming back to your breath, coming back to the room. Back in the body. Excuse me, back in the body at this moment in time. And we have a few moments remaining. If there's anything that you would like to share or ask for support with that may be opened up for you in the meditation, we do have some time. I know after such a deep meditation, it can be sometimes challenging to find words. So, no pressure. While everyone's coming back, I think that the sense that I get more and more is as daunting and as overwhelming and as intimidating as it may feel to be embarking on this new chapter, especially with so little being clear. I think you're going to be amazed at how responsive spirit is this year. Oh, good me. I'm glad you were able to go very deep. Yeah, it's amazing what the group dynamic can do for a meditative experience. But I think that one of the things that is going to be really, really helpful this year, and that I think is going to kind of surprise us all, is because we are moving into a chapter that is really calling us to take action, right? Fire and air are masculine elements. They're expansive, they're upward moving, they're fast moving, and it's all about action. The masculine impulse, in its purest explanation, is simply your externalized force in service of the feminine desire. And we have been in, especially for the past 15 years, we have been in an environment that is predominantly ruled by earth and water, which are very feminine, internal facing, internal moving, downward moving, more contracting elements. If you throw water up into the air or dirt up into the air, it naturally just wants to come back down. And so, in many ways, the past 15 years have been a lot about sitting in the internal space and just waiting, waiting for the sign, waiting for the guidance, waiting for the breadcrumb, waiting for the nudge. And as we're shifting into a chapter that is predominantly ruled by action and is asking us to take action, the field will respond in a way that will probably feel a lot different than it has. One thing that I was remarking on yesterday, as we've been kind of making this shift into this more externalized, outward facing energy, I said to a friend, I said, I don't think I realized just how dormant I had allowed parts of myself to become, because for the past 15 years, it's just kind of felt like, in many ways, spirit, the universe, God was just kind of slapping me on the hand. Nope, we don't do that anymore. Nope, we don't do that anymore. Nope. So at some point, I just said, okay, well, then I'm not going to do anything. And I didn't realize how passive, in a sense, I had become. And I'm only now waking up to this energy that is saying, come on, it's time to get up. It's time to put on some clothes, get clear, and start building, start taking action. But you don't, again, this is a 1 year. You're not going to have the entire plan before you. And that's the point. This year, there is still a big dispensation of trial and error, test and trial. But the thing that really must happen is action and choice. So no matter how small that is, and you know what I often say about action and choice is when you know it's Abraham Hicks, when you know what you don't want, you know what you do want. So maybe at the beginning, it's simply about this is what I'm no longer available for, this is what I'm no longer interested in. And if you can, do yourself a favor and focus more on the experience than the thing. Focus on the vibe and the flavor, the state of being that you prefer and that you are focusing on and nurturing and fostering this year, because that is really the key. Because when you're working on the level of energy, feeling, emotion, and experience, you are working on the level of energy. You are working as closely with the field as you can while still in form. The field is responding to your energy, your frequency, your vibration, not so much what you say. It's how you say it. It's not so much what you do, it's how you do it. So relieve yourself of this pressure that it has to be perfect, that it has to be exact, that you have to know everything. Sometimes it's just about saying, okay, this is the clearest choice I have in front of me right now. So I'm just going to proceed in that direction and we'll see what happens. Just checking out the chat to make sure. Yeah, I think it is, me is asking, has anyone received anything with regards to balancing the divine feminine and the masculine presence and taking action, discipline, perhaps in a different way than maybe different from before? Yeah, because I think the key is that it's about what are you in service of? I think one of the things that the past few years have really shown a lot of us is where we were acting just out of some sort of unconscious or automatic sense of, well, this is what I have to do. This is what it means to be a good human or a good girl or a good boy or a good whatever label. And so I think a lot of the tension for many people is going, wait a minute. My whole life I've been showing up and working away at something that I don't even really care about. That I never really stopped to question, is this what I want to do? And is this how I want to do it? Right. It's the realization that, oh my God, I've just been living out the wishes of my parents or that teacher or that old wound or that whatever. I think what we're realizing is if it's important to you, it's important. If it's meaningful to you, it's meaningful. If it's valuable to you, it's valuable. But what are you doing to create systems and boundaries and beliefs that nurture and foster and protect what you have discovered about yourself? This is about going within where we have been for the past 15 years, really remembering how to listen to ourselves and hear that soul's desire, and then figure out how we're going to fulfill it. And it may have absolutely nothing to do with what's happening out there, and that is perfectly fine. It may have everything to do with what's happening out there, and that is perfectly fine. There is no right or wrong. There is only truth or not, choice and outcome. And if you have realized that you've been showing up and slaving away for somebody else's vision, somebody else's dream, somebody else's well-being, then it's simply a matter of saying, Spirit, show me how to build a life where my effort, my resources, my focus, my love, my passion also ensures that I am fulfilled and satisfied too. you don't get extra points for cutting off parts of yourself to feed other people. You don't get extra points for setting yourself on fire to keep other people warm. That was the old model that the controllers wanted us to believe in. That martyrdom and self-sacrifice and self-mutilation and self-annihilation were somehow noble. It never has been. It never has been. Because if it really was the key, you would also see those same leaders doing the same. And I don't see any of them taking a pay cut in service of those who don't have. So the truth is, you are the only one in the room. Everything else is just a projection of you externalized so that you have a cast of characters to engage with and realize, like, oh, my life doesn't have to be like this. It can be different. I can do and choose and create whatever it is that I want. So the question becomes, what are you showing up in service of? And the first place that I would look for an answer to that is in your belief systems. Because you can say, well, Amar, I'm showing up at this job that I hate and I'm so frustrated and I'm so dissatisfied. And I would say, okay, well, why do you believe that that's how it has to be? Well, because I need a job. And if I don't do this and if I don't do that, then this won't happen. Okay, is that true? Is it objectively true? Have you dismantled that belief system and taken it apart and really examined, is this actually true? And if it's not, or if it's not a truth that you want to support or expand, then drop it. And the trick is that it's always been this easy, but now it's easier than ever before to see how easy it actually is because energetically, we are now in an environment that more closely matches the aspirations that we have individually and collectively been fostering and feeding. And now the energy is in support of that. So again, I think you'll be surprised this year at how receptive and responsive the external reality is. Because it's needed to be very small and very quiet and very constricted because you had to remember how to really hear yourself. You had to remember how to differentiate between what is actually true within you and what is simply indoctrination, programming, etc. So it couldn't be really loud and it couldn't be really active and it had to be small and tight and kind of tiny and sometimes really frustrating because you needed to stop so that you could remember how to hear yourself. And now that you can hear yourself again, this is about application. The past 15 years have been about the learning, about the discovery, about the excavation of your true self. Now it's about the application of that true self. And I think you're going to find it very, very surprising how uncomfortable and almost physically painful it will be to move against yourself. I think you're going to start to see, like, I physically can't do this anymore. It makes me sick to my stomach to pretend, right? It brings me so much anxiety or depression or whatever when I'm saying one thing but meaning or wanting another. And this is the thing that is going to make so many people furious. And this is where we begin to see that anger can be a righteous tool for powerful, benevolent creation. You've always had the keys in your pocket. You were just convinced that their keys were better. But here's the truth. You can't open your doors with someone else's keys. Doesn't work. If the way that we have been told to do it for the past several thousand years was the way to success, we would be succeeding. So you just breathe, you come back to the center, and you say, show me what is true here. And then you just get quiet and you wait. And I promise this year, it will be so clear. There may be a little bit of test and trial at first as we remember how to do it this way, but it's going to be so immediately, almost instantaneously clear. Nope, that's not the way. Because you'll feel it, you'll know it, it will be unmistakable. So if you are interested in a longer term experience, tomorrow, I just put the link in the chat. Tomorrow we start Soul Ignition, which is a three-part series of clarifying your intention, strengthening boundaries, and empowering the vision. So we start tomorrow, and then it's three consecutive Sundays. So tomorrow the first, and then like what, the 7th and the 14th or 15th. We start that tomorrow at 10 a.m. Also, if you're interested in working one-on-one together, there is a coupon code that you can use when booking a session. So that's good for 20% off an integrative session or a tarot reading. There's the link to my calendar. That's only good for a week. So it expires next Saturday. And you can schedule it for any time in the future. But if you're interested in one-on-one work, there's a coupon code for you to get a little bit of money off some private sessions. You're welcome, Karen. I'm glad it was profound for you. I mean, it all begins and ends in the mind. If there, I mean, this is Neville Goddard 101. What you believe is what you will receive. Not what you want, not what you work for, what you believe is what will transpire. This is why people win $20 million in the lottery and 3 years later they're broke. I guarantee you there's a belief in there somewhere. I can't have it. Money's evil. I don't deserve it. I'm not good enough. I'm not responsible. I guarantee you. Same thing is the opposite is true. People who just kind of stumble through life and fall ass backwards into a pile of money, just doing nothing. And I guarantee you it's because there's some version of a story in their body, in their system that says money's easy. I don't work for money. It just comes to me. I literally trip and fall into money. So what you believe is what is true. Not objectively necessarily, but in terms of what is true in your world, what choices and actions balance the equation in the narration that you tell about yourself. And this is the year when we have so much available to us to rewrite that script forever. Forever. So Soul Ignition starts tomorrow. That's going to be really about getting from a clear, objective perspective, getting an action plan, drawing a map for the upcoming year. And then if you're interested in one-on-one work, you can follow those links. Thank you, everybody. It was so lovely to connect with all of you. I'll send out the replay through via email. So if you want to re-listen to this, you can go visit the replay link. Would love to see you tomorrow as well. Mwah. Happy almost February. We're only 2 weeks away now from the beginning of the Firehorse year. And I'm telling you, this is going to go, we are going to have whiplash at how fast this year. I mean, tomorrow, day after tomorrow is Christmas. Basically, that's how fast this year is going. So get ready, everybody. Love you all so much. Talk to you soon. Bye, everyone.